Thanks for joining us today. Welcome, everybody. I'm so happy that Darien Gee has agreed to join us and share some of her inspiration and knowledge of incorporating other art forms into her writing toolkit. Um, and I don't know if all of these are your peeps or not, Darien, but I'll just go ahead and put your stack in there so
Yeah.
we'll have it as they
Yeah,
join.
great. Thank you, Sherry.
Um, so on Substack, Darian's the author of Writerish, where she hosts regular uh, microprose workshops and provides other opportunities to expand your writing capabilities in 300 words or less, which I love because I'm the bite-sized
You
storytelling
are?
boost.
Yep.
So we have similar um, approaches, you know, um, lots of differences, but some similarities there in how we look at stories. You also have a new stack, drafts,
Mhm.
deals, and detours. Um, and that's where Darien shares past and current experiences in writing and the publishing world. And I did attend one of those sessions, and it was wonderful.
Oh, thanks.
Just so great to hear firsthand what a
Yeah.
working writer is doing. There is a lot more, though, to Darien than the Substack stuff. She is an international bestseller whose 5 novels have been translated into 11 languages. Um, and she's also an international citizen. So you mentioned Texas, but I know that you were born in St. Louis, right?
hmm
And then Texas, and then Hong Kong.
Colorado. Well, we were so it was like see, let's see, it was Missouri, then Houston, then Denver, then Houston again, then Bakersfield for a little while, then Hong Kong, then Farmington, Connecticut, then Wellesley, Massachusetts, then Houston, Texas again, then Beijing, China, because I worked there for Pricewaterhouse for a few years, and then San Francisco, and then Burlingame, and then Hawaii. So we've been here for 26 years, and we've moved around the island quite a bit, but we've always been on the big island of Hawaii. So I'd like to hope that we're parked here for a while. My kids are born and raised here. It's a really special place for us. So it's our
Yeah,
home.
really one of the most beautiful places in the world. And
It is.
I have actually vowed not to visit again because of, the um, the damage that tourism has done. So
It is still a part of the fabric of our economy, though, and so I mean, I just think it's more that when people come, that they're just coming and they're just being really aware of certain things that we keep in place, like you don't go up and hang out with a sea turtle. You can watch it, but we just keep a distance from certain like animals. We try to not go if it says a place is kapu or you're not supposed to go in there, don't go in there. It's things like that. I mean, yes, it's not great carbon wise to have the planes and the ships and so on come in, but the truth is, Hawaii is a really beautiful place, and tourism is still part of this market. It always will be because we're an island state. So don't let it discourage you. Just come and just sink into what's here and try to make the place better than when you came in. That's all. That's I think really the name of the game for any of us anywhere in the world, right? Can we
yeah,
can we go someplace, visit, or just be even where we are, be present, and make it at least not make it worse, at least leave it the same or better. That's what I always tell my kids: leave it the same or better. I include
yeah,
people's
and
kitchens.
there's so much natural beauty there, and
Yeah.
to get sidetracked intentionally for 1 minute, and then I want to finish up your bio because there's some stuff I want to mention.
Yeah.
Um, one of the things that I do in using photography as a part of my writing toolkit is there's sort of an initial quest for beauty,
Yeah.
you know, and then that turns into a totally different thing. Even taking a picture of something beautiful, but seeing your life in it
Yeah.
by asking yourself the right questions, or just letting yourself um, meditate almost on that scene. But
Yes.
I still
100%,
remember
Sherry.
many of the things I've seen in Hawaii on the different islands, and I'm glad that you're there. All right, let me continue. with some nonfiction. So you edited Non-White and Woman, 131 micro essays on being in the world, and that received an IPPY award. What is an IPPY award exactly?
So an IPPY award is for the smaller presses, so not the Trad 5, but it could be university presses. It could be just small independent presses that have been around for a long time. So there's a lot of academic presses on there. But there's also just independent, just anyone who isn't honestly the big five. So it's an independent publishing award. And usually your publisher will still submit it. So the smaller ones try to do what they can to spread the word about the book. So I actually have a few of those awards for the either hybrid or indie published titles that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice, it's I think the year that I got the IPPY for I got the IPPY for Non-White and Woman, but I also got it for Allegiance. And
Yeah.
that year, I was, the two in front of me were like really well-known university presses that do amazing work. And it was in the essays category, which was, for those of you who do write micro or write short with either me or with Sherry, I mean, it's like, that collection, which I know we're going to be talking about shortly, it's all micro memoirs, micro prose, micro essays, and it placed third in the essay category. So the other collections were much longer and much bigger and wonderful. They're really great titles. It's been a while, so I can't remember them off the top of my head. But there's a place for micro in the world, period. So
yeah, there definitely is. So you mentioned Allegiance, and I'm going to come back to that because it's the last book that I read, and it just made such an impact on me. Your ability to be concise yet expansive just blows my mind.
Thank you.
Thank you. So in addition to the IPPY, you are the recipient of the 2019 Poetry Society of America's Chapbook Fellowship Award. And I'm so sad that I cannot get a copy of other small histories. I've been poking around, trying to see if I could get it resale.
I know, it's really hard. They rarely go resale because they're almost like little collector items. So people who subscribe to Poetry, they only do a print run of 500. So it wasn't around for very long. It was gone, and they never do a print run again, which is tragic because they have titles in their library that I'm like, I missed that one. I want to get that, and I have like maybe 30 of them, right? And they don't. This is just how they do it. So and that's sort of a typical small press kind of. They're not really small press, but that's sort of how it goes. It's just a limited run, and that is sort of an option for any of you who are thinking about putting a small collection together. It's like you don't have to be like, am I going to sell thousands and thousands of copies? You can be like, you can make a decision right off the bat. I didn't bring any, but I have some in my living room. I have a box of all these different small zines and small chapbooks, and people who've some of them have made it by hand, and they'll write like 1/25, 3/25, because there's only 25 copies. And I think that's a really, like with artwork, right? When you have a print and they only, maybe we'll do 4 or 5 versions of it, or giclées or something like that, prints of it, and they number them. And I think that kind of it sort of honors your system as an artist, which is really what we're going to be talking about today, I know. But also it's kind of fun and cool, and it does do a little bit of that scarcity, like, oh, there's only 2 left, right? But
yeah. But this time it's real. It's not just a marketing technique, right? Okay.
I know.
So something else that you do is teach, right, at the UCLA Extension. Are you still doing that now?
I am, yeah. So it's hard because the quarter system is 10 weeks, and all of just, gosh, with so much happening in the world, 10 weeks is a tremendous amount of time. And of course, it's not just 10 weeks. I have stuff that I do for that class. I have stuff I do after, and it is a full-time gig when I'm in it because there's always something happening. There's always, student emails. There's so much work to be read, and adjunct is a very hard way to make a living as a writer because it doesn't pay very well and there's no benefits. But I really love the team at UCLA Extension, which is one reason why I'm still there. One thing I do is every quarter I do one free 90-minute webinar. I think maybe you might have gone to 1 or 2 of those about micro or writing about family history. That's another really big part of what I love to teach and share with people. So those are the two sort of pillars, I guess, that I keep doing at UCLA Extension is micro memoirs, how to tell your story, my short prose, and then family history, and of course doing it in micro. So I should have probably led with that
Yeah,
too. So everything's with micro because it's such an easy way in.
exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
UCLA Extension um, is an incredible school, in its own right. And the population that it serves, working people,
Yeah.
mothers, and
Yep.
people
Absolutely.
who may not be able to fit into the regular college student um, description. I worked with them when I was in um, doing some work in educational marketing, actually. Uh, they were our client,
Hmm.
and they were just an amazing group of people, dedicated, talented. I think really a cut above the rest, if I can be honest about it. All extension schools are very honorable. It's good work that
Yeah.
extension schools are doing. So any of you who um, may have missed out on a portion of your education, or there's something that you want to learn not through Substack, consider one of the extension schools. They're just fabulous. Okay. And then you got your MFA at the age of 50, right?
Hmm.
Which
Yeah.
is really impressive, from the Rayner Writing Workshop at PLU, Pacific
Hmm.
Lutheran University. And that program was designed by Judith Kitchen, right?
Yeah. Hmm. And her husband, Stan Rubin. Yep.
Yeah. So that's where I kind of want to pivot right now, is to take a look at the letter that you wrote to Judith Kitchen for letters to dead authors and artists. Can you pull that up?
Let's see.
Or I could
Yes.
wait. Do I have that? I could pull it
I
up.
just, yeah, no, I can do it. It's super. Let me see. Kelsey Ervick, whom we love. If you don't follow Kelsey Ervick, you need to. She is one of the most amazing um, creators and artists on um, Substack, and she does a lot for the community. This is letters to dead authors and artists, but she also has her own Substack, which is the Habit of Art, which I just really cannot recommend enough. And that one has, oh my gosh, I mean, she's like a Substack bestseller, and for good reason, because she just does and offers so much to the community. But anyways, here's this.
Yeah. So,
I
um,
am down. Let me see.
and
This is
one
such an amazing
interesting
series.
thing
Hmm.
about these letters is that Kelsey asks for people who submit letters to her for publication to submit a drawing of the author as
Hmm.
part of it. Um, there you go.
That's
And
Judith. Well, my attempt at getting Judith down. Yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, I think it's a great drawing. And is it taken from an actual photograph, Darian? That's what I wanted to
It's
ask.
it is taken from an actual photograph. Kelsey says, some of the people who come on her stack are actual artists. I would not call myself an artist. I guess I would, in a way that, like, I'm a writer and a writer is an artist. But
Right.
I talk more about, when I talk about an artist, I'm looking really more at fine art and people who are working in a certain kind of medium beyond words, right? Unless of course they're doing collage with words or something like that. And so she said you can do whatever you want. You can, copy from a photo. You can do a blind drawing. I really actually like blind drawings, but I just didn't feel like I wanted to do a blind drawing of
Yeah.
Judith. I really wanted people to see her. So this is from a photograph, and what's really interesting about it is that in the photograph, and I've seen this photograph, just so you know, a zillion times because I just have seen it. I'm very familiar with her stance, the way she looks, what she's wearing. But it wasn't until I was drawing it that I saw that on this wall, there's two walls, it's a hallway. I couldn't get the dimensions, the 3D part down very well. There's a piece of paper that is taped to the wall. It's a blank piece of paper and it almost blends in and you don't notice it if you're not looking, which is, a big part of what we're going to be talking about today. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, so when I started drawing it, I'm like, what is this piece of paper? It's completely blank. And this is before the days when people were using AI or Canva to white things out. I mean, it's a blank piece of paper that she has taped up, either covering something or it's something she was going to write something on, or I don't know, but it's there. And it was so intriguing for me. And that's the thing that we get when we do other art forms and we leave ourselves open to perspective, is we notice things that we might not have otherwise noticed. You know, I know Judith's legacy. Again, I've seen this photo a zillion times, and I never noticed this piece of paper that was on the wall in the original photograph. And